Okay, this is a video response to a post made by a member of the Mathematical Card Magic group, and we'll quickly take a look at the post. Another student of mine shared this video presentation with me and has tried to figure out the math behind it. Since there doesn't seem to be any sleight of hand, I'm still stumped by it as well. Any help from members of the Mathematical Card Magic group would be much appreciated. Thanks. Okay, so we're going to take a look at a portion of this card presentation and then talk about it on the other side.
Ready for an impossible trick, and I mean impossible. If you're really into card magic, you're going to want to stay for this for the end. It's a little bit longer trick. If you were to take two decks of playing cards from just different parts of the country, town, world, even in your house, just two separate decks, the only way that those cards are going to match up card for card is if they were both brand new decks in brand new order. But if you have two well-shuffled decks brought together, the odds of those cards, those two decks being in the exact same order is 1 with a couple of trillion zeros behind it. Your calculator doesn't even go that high. But imagine this. Imagine if you take two decks that have nothing to do with each other, completely independent. These are just old, not new decks, well shuffled, have been used quite a bit. One deck is all mixed up. Got another deck over here. This deck is all mixed up. And if you were to go through these cards one by one, you're going to see that they are not going to be in the same order. You may get a card every now and then that matches, but for the most part, these two decks are just not going to match up. It's hard for me to grab a card here, but they're just completely mixed up. So if you take two well-shuffled decks and shuffle them together, you're creating essentially a monster of a deck. So that's what we're going to try to do here. We're going to try to shuffle two decks of playing cards right into each other. And this is not as easy as you might think, but you got two completely different decks and both in completely different orders, and you've just shuffled them all together. Now, the odds of being able to deal off 52 cards and having a complete deck is add a few more trillion zeros behind that first example I gave you. So let's count off 52 cards. Now, I don't know if I'm holding a whole 50. I'll just grab a whole bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. So we essentially now here have a 52 card deck, but it's made up of two decks that were not in order at all and shuffled them together. If we have a complete 52 deck here, it would be absolutely insane. It's so impossible. So now what we're going to do is we're going to separate clubs, hearts, spades, and diamonds. So we'll do like this here, put the diamonds there, put this here, and see if this is going to work. Somebody said it couldn't be done, but he with a chuckle replied, maybe it couldn't, but he'd be the one who wouldn't say so until he had tried. Somebody scoped, you'll never do that. At least nobody's ever done it. So he took off his coat, took off his hat, and next thing you know, he begun it. He buckled another grin on his face, and if he worried, he hit it. He started to sing as he tackled a thing that could not be done, and he did it. And we're going to see if we can do the same thing here, the impossible, out of pure chaos. So we'll just separate all the spades. We're almost done here. We got the hearts. Got spade, 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 heart, spade, spade, heart. I don't know if I have enough clubs. Let's see if we have enough clubs to put this in some kind of order here. We have 1, 2, there's a 3, there's a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King. Oh, wow. Out of a deck made up of both decks that were completely shuffled, we have all of the clubs, ace through king. Let's see if we have that in the diamonds. This is going to be nuts.
Okay, so I showed you a portion of it. He went through and actually showed that he had a complete deck of 52 cards, 13 of each of the suits. Oh boy, how could you possibly pull that off? Well, there's really only one known way to do that at the moment, unless we discover new mathematical principles for card magic, and that is the Gilbreth principle. Okay, so I'm going to have to point out the fact that he told 1 or 2 or a dozen fibs I don't know if we should call them lies, but they're fibs at least. When he talked about the 2 decks being independently shuffled, he never actually did that in front of us, if you remember. And it's because he couldn't, because it won't work if he did. Okay, so how this works is those 2 decks are identical, but in the opposite order to one another. So what you do is you set up an entire deck in whatever order you would like, and then you go through the painstaking work of putting the other deck in the opposite order to the one that you've just created, okay? And so what that would do then is you have so in fact, let me just demonstrate it with a much smaller bunch of cards here. So what I have here is I decided to just go with ace through 5 of the 4 suits. Okay, and I could have hidden the ordering here. You know, I could scramble the clubs and hearts and spades and diamonds like he did, and that would be fine. But just to keep it simple, I've just ordered them like so. And then the second packet of 20 cards is the exact same as this, but in reverse order. So the Gilbreth principle requires, well, for you to be able to apply it in a way that will be helpful and you can draw conclusions after you've shuffled, you need some kind of cyclic arrangement. So you need to have a certain pattern of cards that repeats 2 or more times. And then with that, if you reverse count, so count to the table any number of cards, it could be half of them, it could be one of them, none of them. But if you reverse count to the table any number of cards and then riffle shuffle those together or do anything that's mathematically equivalent to a riffle shuffle, the Gilbreth principle says that taken from the top, you'll have one complete set of cards whose characteristics come from the cycles that you set up in that cyclic arrangement of the cards. But it doesn't need to be this structured. Really, all you need is you just need some ordering of these cards, that same ordering you need here, but in reverse. And that's going to accomplish the step of reverse counting some of the cards. And then from there, with the very packets that you see on the table, we can now just riffle shuffle these, and the Gilbreth principle will apply. And so that will mean 20 cards taken from the top will consist of an ace through 5 of clubs in some order, ace through 5 of hearts in some order, ace through 5 of spades in some order, and ace through 5 of diamonds in some order. Okay? So let's go ahead and just kind of demonstrate that. So really with what he did, you could think about it as essentially his monster deck was really just a 2-cycle with cycle length 52, and then having the 1/2 in reverse order, it's like reverse counting that second half. Okay? So the key is we have an ordering of cards here. We have the exact same ordering but in reverse of those cards. And now we'll go ahead and perform a riffle shuffle of these 2 packets. And it doesn't actually matter how these cards, now these are brand new decks, brand new cards here. It doesn't even matter how good of a shuffle it is. I mean, that's what is amazing about the Gilbreth principle, actually. So it doesn't matter how great the riffle shuffle is, as long as it is a riffle shuffle or something equivalent. And so what I'm saying is, if we just count out 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, okay, and we discard the rest if you like. There we will be able to recreate a complete set of what we just had, okay? So let's go ahead. I'll put the clubs here, diamonds there, club, 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 diamond, 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 spade, spade, let's see, heart's over here, spades there, and there's the remaining spade. And so as you can see, we have one of each of the card values in clubs, and we'll have one of each of, now you have to realize, because his cards were not in any numeric order or any kind of arrangement that would be easily detectable, you know, we're going to get some orderly output here, right? We're going to get we're going to get them looking pretty nice actually. So here, see, I guess I can move that up there and put those in order. So we get ace through 5 of spades. And then, as you might imagine, we have a full set of diamonds, ace through 5, okay, in some order, okay. So we can go like that, and then like this, and then this. Okay, we're having to rearrange quite a bit, but get them back in order. But okay, that just depends on you know, how many cards are reverse counted and how they're brought together with the riffle shuffle. So really, it's just the Gilbreth principle. If you want to do what he did, create 2 decks with the identical ordering of the cards. Then after you've done that, go through and reverse to the table, count out all the cards in one of those decks, and that reverses the order of all of those cards. And you can put each in a box and bring it out just like he did and give a similar story about what are the chances that these would constitute a full, you know, complete set of 52 cards after being riffle shuffled together and so forth. Okay, so it's a just kind of a large packet use of the Gilbreth principle. Normally we don't work with more than 1 deck at a time, but you can. It's using this most remarkable principle discovered by Norman Gilbreth in the 1950s. And countless mathematical card effects have been created using this wonderful, wonderful principle. And I have quite a few on my channel. So anyway, that's the secret behind it. Unfortunately, he really threw out a lot of red herrings with statements that are just not true. It's not true that the ordering of those 2 decks are completely unrelated. No, they're actually the reverse of each other. They're highly correlated decks, highly correlated. So I guess magicians would refer to that as misdirection, I guess. It's always hard to know where the line might be for misdirection versus lying. I'm not even sure. Sometimes you have to equivocate and be a bit ambiguous and even a bit sneaky how you state things. So that's a great video presentation, and that is the secret. It's the Gilbreth principle. And if you're interested in learning more about the Gilbreth principle, I have videos on my channel using the Gilbreth principle in kind of traditional ways, as well as some brand new, never before seen ways. If you go to Bessie's sequences and the Gilbreth principle, no one has ever seen those before. Those are new to my channel. So anyway, thank you for watching, and take a look at other videos on the Absolute Math Magic channel.